You're listening to the Shoot Your Shot podcast. I'm Megan.
And I'm Jen, and we're two boss babes sharing our journey and inspiring you along the way.
And today we are sharing 5 things that we've learned since running our businesses. We've got a little list going that we're going to chat about, like our 5 top things that we've learned that we think are important. And we'll just dive right in.
Yay. All right, I will kick us off. So the first thing that I felt was really important to talk about is the simple sharing your business. And what do I mean by that? Not just on social media, like everywhere you go, you should be talking about your business. It's so funny because I just feel like I throw up my business sometimes, which sounds crazy, but I do it in an authentic way.
Yeah.
Like if I'm having a conversation with someone, I'll just slide in. By the way,
have you heard of the Vintage Fours?
It's this really cool bar company, but just anytime you have the opportunity to talk about your business, talk about it. Because if you're not talking about your business, nobody else is. I say this all the time and I cannot say it enough, but it's true. Truthfully, you are living, eating, breathing your business.
Yeah.
That is your job as the business owner. It is not anyone else's job to talk about your business. People will do it because they like you, they care about you, you built a relationship with them. But at the end of the day, it is your job to talk about your business.
Yeah. And you never know who's going to be listening too. Like if you're out to dinner or something, somebody at the next table over could be hearing, oh my gosh, this really cool old horse trailer converted into a bar. And who knows, maybe their kids are graduating or whatever. Somebody could be overhearing you, might not even be the person that you're talking to that could be benefiting from what you're saying. So
yeah. And same with photography. People are always looking for photographers. If you can build that relationship with someone one-on-one versus on social media, it goes such a long way. So if you are building that connection in person, and it's not just at networking events. I've literally talked to a stranger at the supermarket while we're waiting in line. Because you know me, I talk to everyone. Yeah. And most of the time I'm usually there, not most of the time, I'm there all the time. But in the summer, I'm there getting ice. So I'll have my logo on, my uniform.
Right before the event.
And people will be like, oh, what is that? And I don't know, I guess I look like a nice person. People always talk to me. But I'll be like, oh, it's the Vintage Tour, it's the mobile bar company, blah, blah, blah. And, sometimes I'll slide on my card. And it's just that authentic conversation that I think people are really still yearning for. People really want to have conversations with people outside of social media.
Yeah. And those in-person connections are so much more valuable than the social media ones too sometimes, because people want an actual referral from somebody that they know. So if you are talking to a friend about it, maybe somebody that you already know, not a supermarket kind of person, but just a friend of a friend or whatever, they might refer you because they know who you are and they trust you, rather than reaching out to another company and they're anxious if maybe they're a scammer. Are they going to show up? Because small businesses can be a little bit scary sometimes, especially if they're one of the ones that sort of franchise out. I don't know if you've heard a lot about these photography companies that do that, where I actually second shot for a company last year or the year before. They reached out a few days before the wedding and they were like, oh my gosh, our second shooter fell through, we need help, we're from Georgia, we don't know anybody, but our wedding is in Hartford. And I was like, oh my god, okay, well, I'm free, let's do it. And then got there and found out later after the wedding, I had a fine experience at the wedding, so I have to say that my experience with them was fine, besides the fact that they did not pay me. And then the couple paid them in full and didn't receive anything back. So there are crazy people. And
so you still have never gotten paid from
No,
this?
I never got paid. And the couple never got anything back from them. And I'm now in a Facebook group that the bride, she found my contact information and I gave her my photos, which breached the contract that I had with them, but they didn't pay me. So that kind of breached the contract to start with. So they did get my photos and they got the second videographer. They got his videos from their wedding, but nothing edited, nothing from the company. And so internet is scary. Everything your parents and school and everybody's saying, don't trust what you see on the internet is, it's an old thing. Social media is fine. You don't have to be so scared. But at the same time, really do your research to make sure that the reviews that you're finding on people are authentic, and that having a referral from somebody who had a firsthand good experience is worth more than just somebody off the internet, because there are people out there like that that are quote unquote small businesses but still treat you like a big business. So,
and even at your events, you're networking there too.
Yeah.
Anyone at that potential, let's call a wedding. Anyone at that wedding could be a potential future client for you.
Yeah, actually, so, I don't want to cut you off, but Jess, one of our good friends, Jess, she's also a wedding photographer. Actually, you introduced me to Jess, and Jess is like one of my best friends. But anyway, I was second shooting a wedding for her, and she said that that's how, recently, it was a couple months ago, she said that that's how that couple found her, was just, they were at somebody else's wedding. Yep. They were like, we love how you're, you know, interacting with the couple and like how you're treating the day. They hadn't seen any of her work before, hadn't seen her Instagram, didn't look her up. They just loved who she was as a person shooting, that they were like, we're in love.
Sold. Yep.
Yeah.
It's so true. I get so many referrals from, like, in my intake form, it'll be like, where'd you find this? And they'll say, saw you at an event. So it's like, it's so rewarding to see that, because they've experienced you firsthand versus seeing, you know, your website or you online or things like that. So, you know, and, you know, I talk to people when they come to the bar, but you have to do that same experience with every single customer, because you never know who potentially could be a customer for you. All right, next one we have. I know. Change your mindset. So this was something that I feel like personally has been such a growth opportunity for me in general. You know, coming from a corporate background and coming from, you know, always working for someone else, I always had the mindset like security, and, you know, I would get a steady paycheck, and I would kind of just do what my boss told me to do at the end of the day. And with owning your own business, you can't do that because you're depending on yourself. So changing your mindset, what I mean by that is like talking really positive to yourself and to others, and just, you know, sharing your wins. And when you do something like a huge accomplishment, like if you just got a huge booking, or if you just got a wedding that you've been working so hard and you really like felt the connection with that potential bride and groom, and you wanted to work with them, and then they were like, okay, we want to move forward, like share that with someone, because if you hold that all in, like it's just going to stay in your own little bubble. But if you can celebrate it with other people, you know, it's so much better.
And you know what? Social media is kind of the perfect place for that, because then people who are following you and considering inquiring with you, if you really post that excitement on your stories or something, and you're like, guys, I'm so excited, la 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 la, and you treat it as kind of like a vlog instead of like you're only going there for business announcements or something like that, but like treat it like an everyday kind of thing. And if you share all of that excitement, people that are following you to be potential clients, and they're like, I might reach out to her, I'm considering the Vintage Horse versus this other company. If they see your excitement and they see that they really matter to you, they might be more inclined to reach out. So
yeah, I love that. I know. I heard something on the way here, actually, on a podcast I was listening to, and it kind of was like God, religion related, but you can take this in two ways. So they said that when you're going through a really, really hard time, and, you know, you're like relying on God or the universe, and you're like, can you just have my back right now? Like, I need you, you know, like whoever you're talking to. And they said, when you're taking a test at school, the teacher's always quiet. And I was like, oh my gosh, like it's God or the universe teaching you a lesson right now. And basically what that means is it's quiet because you're learning. I'm not saying it the right way, but basically, like when you're taking a test at school, you're doing the homework, you're learning what you're taking in what you had just learned, and then the teacher grades it and rewards you at the end. But when you're doing something and you're going through a really hard time with your business, and you're like, nothing's going right, everything's going wrong, I look at it like the universe is teaching me lessons right now, and I need to kind of like take that all in with a grain of salt and learn from everything that's going on, and just like go with the motions, and then I'm gonna get rewarded at the end. And I feel like right now I'm going through that, because coming off of the slow season that we had been talking about, and my mindset was in this like crazy funky, like my business is failing, nothing's going right, I'm not getting any leads, I need to sell this business, I need to shut down, I need to close it, like all the negative things were it happens every single off season. I do this to myself, and now the leads are coming in, the bookings are starting again, and I'm going through those motions. But I need to remind myself that I needed that time to remember the good time in my business and the positive side of my business. So I feel like you have to change your mindset, and something that I'm really honing in on for next year is to set myself up so well for my off season, because I have not done that the past 3 seasons. You would think I would have learned from the first one or the second one, but here we are. But I truthfully feel like you have to go through those highs and lows as long as you continue to keep the right mindset. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
How do you feel like you stay positive with your mindset and daily, like, do you have any like daily things that you do that helps?
You know what? I'm getting a lot better because I think we've talked about this before, how like I kind of prefer the slow life of like, you know, I don't know how to describe it, but like those slow life TikToks of people like feeding their chickens and like baking bread, like that is what I would thrive off of, and not so much like the grind energy of like go, go, go. And I know that we're very reverse like that. So it's so funny because I feel like I need to set myself up better for the season, not the off season.
Oh my gosh.
So that's what I've been putting a lot of focus into lately, is really honing in and making sure that my editing process is like bang, 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 you know, like getting everything done. The style shoot that I attended on Monday, galleries delivered yesterday. So I'm trying to get a lot better with that kind of thing. I've been making my bed every day. I've been reading every morning and every night before I go to work, and, you know, after I close down my laptop. I don't know. I've been really good about habits. There was one thing I heard on a podcast lately that has really kind of changed my mindset with just like daily habits and, you know, having a clean space, because that affects my mental health a lot and my work a lot, because I live with my parents, you guys. So I don't have an office space, really. This desk that we're sitting at right now is my desk and it's in the corner of my bedroom. So because of that, I don't really have a good separation of work-life balance and personal life balance. And so this one thing that I heard on a podcast was to keep your home less cluttered and to declutter your mind and create a space that you really like and really stay on top of that, is instead of putting something down and, you know, you kick your shoes off and you're like, oh, I'll put them away later. Don't put it down, put it away. That was something that I heard Connor on the Brooke and Connor Make a podcast from TMG. And that has changed my life so much lately, because I'll have a cup of coffee or I'll have some tea and I'll eat a snack and I'll just leave it there, and it'll be there for days and days, and then I'll look into it and I'm like, oh my god, there's mold in the bottom of the cup. What have I done with my, you know, what am I doing? So I've been really good at don't put it down, put it away, you know, get out of bed, don't, you know, throw my sheets down, put them away, make my bed. I've been doing a lot of things like that for my own life, and then as well in my business is like making sure that everything is, you know, tucked away and like ready to go and clean and organized. I organized all of my gear in this big chest off to the side that you guys can't see, but everything is tucked away. So like all of my business stuff, if I need to take a day off, I don't see anything. If I want to just take a personal day, you know, I can have things put away. And so that's been really valuable for me in changing my mindset with that, of really making a good work-life balance and personal life balance and trying to separate them as much as I can.
Oh my God. I love that so much. So my husband, but I took all of that in, and I love Megan's sweating.
I'm taking my sweatshirt
taking your sweatshirt off. I love that. I always try to make my bed every single morning, because I heard on a podcast, this is a trending topic of today, listening to other podcasts.
Yeah.
But I heard in a podcast that by making your bed, you have told yourself that you've accomplished one thing already today.
I feel it.
I was like, feel it. Mind blown. Like, yeah. Yes. And you're coming into a safe, clean space at the end of the day too.
Yeah.
When all you want to do is just crawl into it. But the decluttering. So every like January, I used to always declutter. Like I would have a calendar, and every day would be another like section of the house or of a room. Like the other day I started my daughter's closet, which she has 2 closets in her room, and we don't even use them because there's just shit inside of them. And I'm like, why is there so much stuff in there? Like, no. So I've been slowly like doing that, but I truly feel happier with like a clean workspace, a clean space. I love that. But I need to go back to you saying that you're setting yourself up for the busy season.
Yeah.
I forgot that that's how our brains work differently.
Yeah, we're opposite that way.
We're totally opposite. But you just made me think like, my brain is like this because of off season, because I don't thrive with being slow. Like I don't thrive with like relaxing and having time to myself. Like I don't, like I curl up in a ball and I'm like, oh my God, like that's when my anxiety hits.
So
versus
funny.
Your anxiety probably hits when you're like, I have 17 galleries to go. Like, but I do things the day before because I work better under pressure.
That's so funny.
It's crazy. But Yeah.
See, I do not. I mean, I feel like I can get things done when I'm on the pressure. So I have deadlines for all of my galleries. And can I say that I'm early to the deadlines? Most likely not. If it's like busy season, if it's like October, like I was that day or the day after like delivering all of my galleries because I was so overwhelmed last year and I hated it. Did not thrive in that environment. But we all know that Jen is the opposite. So that's so funny. Yeah, no, I've been prepping myself for busy season so that, you know, I can relax and I don't have to be so overwhelmed and stressed out. That's so funny.
I love that. That it's just, last episode I said like aha moments 100 times. That was just such an aha moment for me. Okay, so the next one is find your people. Do you want to start with that one?
Yeah. Finding your people is really important. Finding people that you click with and that you don't feel so alone with, because entrepreneurship can be a really lonely journey, as we've said on this podcast a million times. You know, you're the only person sharing your business. Everything relies on your shoulders unless you truly have a 50-50 partner, which, to be honest, most of us probably don't. So it's a really lonely journey, and to be able to have people that you can connect with, whether it be a podcast like this, even if we've never met in person and you're like, you know what, I feel like I know Meghan and Jen, even that is just helpful and good in itself, because we get it. You know, we get what you're going through, unless we don't, and then send us a message or something. But you get what I'm saying, that it's nice to have friends that know what you're going through and aren't 9-to-5 friends, because, and you can attest to this, because I don't really have, I'm 22, I don't really have a ton of friends that are in like a 9-to-5, like, I mean, I do, but like a lot of my friends are like graduating college and like internships and things like that. So I don't have people that are in like corporate America yet. But I know that you mentioned on the podcast previously that one of your friends, when you were in corporate America, was an entrepreneur, and you were like, I don't get it. So I'm sure that she kind of felt alone, having all of her friends be in corporate and like not having anybody that understands what she's going through and all the work that she's putting in, because it's a different kind of work. Right?
100%. And truthfully, besides that one friend who's one of my best friends, all of my friends are in corporate America.
Still?
Yeah, all of them. There's none of my friends own their own business. None of my friends even have side hustles that are in addition to theirs. So they don't understand they do, because I talk to everyone, so I tell them everything.
Yeah.
And they're all so supportive of me. Like I love my community, but to the point of needing something, like needing a tribe that is going to relate to what you're doing. You had mentioned like, you know, listening to this podcast, like this is a podcast where it's like, we can relate to what you're going through. And, you know, hopefully you can pick up like some of the things pick up what we're putting down, but basically like understanding that you're not alone in this. But I literally started my business because of a podcast. And I started, the Empower Her one that I talk about a lot. She started with Beachbody. Well, first she worked for Google, so she was corporate. Then she started with Beachbody. Now she owns multiple businesses. Her and her husband own a lot. But literally, I would listen to her every day during the pandemic, and she would literally like get me excited to do something more.
Wow.
And so I feel like if you don't have a tribe of people like one in person, find people online. Like that's what this is about. Like this world and technology is there for you to be able to find a community online. And I talk about Business Socialistas, which is a company that a woman started here in Connecticut, and she literally, her job is building relationships with other entrepreneurs and women in business. But you know, there's so many out there. There's so many resources to be able to find people that you can feel comfortable with.
Yeah. 100%.
I love that. And I mean, we met at a photo shoot. We talk about this all the time. And Devin, who's my co-host of the big event, we met at an event. Like
you did?
Yeah. Did I ever tell you that?
I don't think so.
So she was a guest at my first ever wedding, like ever in my business wedding.
No way.
And the bride literally came up to the trailer and was like, you two need to meet. And to this day, like we like thank the bride.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
Yep. It was one of her husband's friends was the groom, I think. And we just like randomly connected at a wedding.
That's so sweet.
Now we do so much together. But it's just like, and that's just, it's crazy like hearing how people meet. It's very authentic, because I feel like our paths were meant to be crossed at a certain time, you know? I'm a firm believer of that.
Like you and me.
Yes.
Like what are the odds that both of us, like our first time out into the world, doing our businesses was when we met.
I know.
Here we are like 3 years later.
It's crazy. It's just so crazy. Weird. It's so weird.
That's
so
the way the world works.
So find your people. That is like the number. I truly don't think that I could. And I recently posted like something about me and like facts about me or, something. And the comments that people commented were people that I've built relationships with, not my friends. Like, I don't think any of my friends, some of my friends would comment, be like, congratulations, so proud of you, whatever. But the people who like put these meaningful comments are people that I've met literally on Instagram. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. Because they get you in a different way. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, okay. Next one is education. I'll kick this one off because I recently put a big chunk of money into myself and into my business education. And I hired a business coach. And it's a year-long program, and it has totally already, like, I've gotten so much value out of it so far, but I am a firm believer that you need to put back into yourself. You need to continue to educate. Like, I remember being in corporate and we would have trainings all the time. And that was to help educate us to learn new things, to get excited about what we were doing. When I was in hospitality, we had a yearly conference that we would go to. It was usually in New York. And it was like just training about, what to do for the next year, what the new trends are going to be, what is up and coming, what the company is doing as a company to help benefit you and their employees and guests and things like that. And you don't have that as a small business. So you need to put in the work and have a budget for yourself that you can go to educational events or, even the networking events. Like, find an educational networking event that you can go to. They're like $20. Yeah. Some are like 45, but it's worth it because you're twofold. You're meeting new people, you're meeting your new business bestie potentially, but you're also learning from other entrepreneurs. Yeah. And I think that's so important.
Yeah. And then a lot of those events have speakers too. Like the one that we went to, the New England Event Pros together at Smith Farm Gardens. They're a new networking event. So see if they have any events coming up if you guys are in Connecticut. But the first one that they had that we both went to, they had 2 speakers that were fabulous. And then we ended up having one of them on the podcast because we were like, we need to hear more from you. So yeah, even if it's just a networking event, hearing from people, one-on-one, like asking them things, like if you're meeting a bookkeeper in person and you're like, tell me more about bookkeeping. Like, I need to get on that. Or if there's an actual speaker, like, that's great. Or seeking out your own stuff, like you said. There's so many workshops and things for photographers too, retreats, where you can learn so much, which I have not done yet, but I can say that I have put a lot of time into my education with just finding things that are available online to me. YouTube is a huge resource for anything that you want to learn anywhere. Making sure that everything is, you don't have to make sure that everything is accredited. I don't want to say that, but like fact check, I guess. At least fact check. So if you're, trying to learn photography and you're watching a YouTube video, maybe watch another one on the same topic by somebody else to make sure that like what they're saying is aligning with each other. And of course, everybody has their own opinions and ways to do things, but I think that's where most of my education has come from, is from following people on social media, YouTube, rather than paying for a course or a consultation with somebody or something like that. And I feel like I'm just fine. But also photography, and I'm speaking about photography, not about the other areas in business, because that's a whole other can of worms, is learning about business management and things like that. But I'm a one-man band, so I feel like there's a little less liability to me than there is for other people that are opening, food service, or for you're handling alcohol and things like that. You really needed the background that you had with corporate to be able to do something like that. And for me, I'm in the arts, and so things kind of matter a little bit less.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm such a firm believer of the quote, like, don't ever be the smartest person in the room. Yeah. And I truly think that not only is it good to educate yourself, but it's also good to see what other people are doing who are one step ahead of you. Yeah. Because that's what's going to get you to that next step. When you can see like someone has done what you're doing, but 10 times bigger or better, or not better, but just in like a different way.
Or for longer.
Yeah. And it's just going to, you learn by your mistakes, and someone who's been doing it longer than you probably has learned a lot more mistakes than you have, and they can help you not do the same mistakes they did. Like when I do coaching calls for mobile bars, like I'm telling them what I've learned from experience. Like I'm literally telling them this didn't work out and this is why it didn't work out. So I'm telling them, you know, things that maybe they should not try or do it in a different way or whatever it is. But, you know, like for me, my social media on Instagram, I love doing reels. And I had no clue how to do a reel when I first started. I literally had to YouTube, how do you create a reel? And I learned from there. And, you know, with the algorithm always changing and things like that, you know, I do follow other people who are teaching you things on social media.
Oh yeah, I love those accounts.
Yeah,
I love those accounts.
So people always ask, and when I've done social media trainings, like on Zoom before, and you know, you pay whatever to come on the Zoom, and we do an hour training, and some of the questions are like, who are other accounts that you follow? And honestly, I don't even know. Like, I don't have one specific one where I'm like, I follow them every single day, but just search like how to make a reel if that's something that you're interested in, or how to, like, when the you know how you put like a little person in front of like a picture or like a video.
Oh yeah, like the CapCut.
The CapCut, yeah.
Yeah.
I had no clue how to do that. I saw all these people doing it. So I literally YouTubed how to, like, the stupidest, I don't even know what I did like to find it, but it was literally like, how do you put a person in front of a picture on Instagram?
Yeah, how do you put the guy eating the sandwich in front of the video?
Yes. Yeah. And they told me how to do it.
Yeah.
So it's like, put in YouTube anything and YouTube will literally tell you.
But those Instagram accounts that you mentioned are huge, because that's where I learned like all about my social, I guess most of my social media marketing when I was first starting out, which a lot of the information is probably dated. As you said, like the algorithm always changes, but that's where I kind of get my up-to-date stuff, is looking at these big popular accounts who all they do is post about social media marketing. And they're like, you know, 5 things you need to have in your reel, or like, this is why your views are low, like those kinds of accounts where they seem like kind of scammy, and they're like, buy my course, but the free information that they post does actually work. Like all of the stuff that they post about how to find the best trending audios and what to look for, and put a call to action at the end of your video, have a good, you know, in the first 3 seconds, catch their attention, have a good, like, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but you guys get what I'm saying. Yeah, those accounts are they're good. I mean, you can tell like their followers 100%. Are high, and I just copied what I saw other people doing, and you know, I got whatever 3,000 followers in 2 years or something like that, which probably isn't a lot, but
that's a huge accomplishment.
All I needed, you know.
Share
I'm
your
happy,
wins, girl.
I'm happy. You know, I got enough people following me to feel like I'm legitimate, and if more people come, I'm happy with that. But I've kind of slowed down my Instagram grind with the reels. I feel like early on I was posting a lot of reels of like tips for your wedding day, which I feel like I should do more of, because I did really enjoy it, and it does feel really useful for people. But I did used to post more like silly videos and things like that, and I just haven't, because I don't know, like I'm spending more time on the things that are more important in my business now. I'm not like fighting for leads as much. I'm like trying to make the experience like after booking better. That's my focus at the moment.
I love that.
That's about it.
Love. Okay, so the last one we're going to talk about, and we kind of like wrap it up here, is be genuine. You know, when you're talking to someone, talk to them like they're human too. Like every time I get on a potential phone call with a customer, you know, I'm asking them like, what's your vision for your wedding? What is the vision for your bar? Like, do you enjoy certain types of drinks? Like, I'm learning about them, because that shows that I actually care about them, versus being like, here's your contract, here's your deposit, this is our, you know, process. Like that, people don't want that. They're getting so many of those. So it's like, how are you standing out from the ones who are just saying, here's my proposal, here's my pricing, here's my contract. Yeah. Done. You know, be like very authentic with the communication you're having with other people.
Oh yeah.
And not just your clients, you know, even on social media. Like I went through a little bit of a phase where I saw this one other local mobile bar really copying a lot of the things I was doing. And it was really, really discouraging to me. And I was like, why are they doing this? Like, this is so frustrating. And I'm like, do I block them? Like, you know, it was like to the T of like what I was posting, they were posting. So it was so like, I could just see. So anyway, it was really bothering me. And I'm like, you know what? that's not them being authentic. You know, once they stop copying me, people aren't going to want their services because they're going to think that what they're copying from someone else is who they are. So be authentic and you're going to find your ideal audience.
Also, that's kind of a compliment to you.
Everyone says that.
They're following your business model because they can see that you're successful.
Yeah. Everyone says that. And I tried to tell that to other people who went through the same thing. But when it's happening to you, you're like, no, like it's not a compliment. Like it's freaking annoying.
Yeah.
But I do know what you're saying. But everybody would tell me that. And I was like, yeah, but no, like it's not.
Yeah.
But truthfully, like find your way of your business and don't feel like you have to, like social media is so haunting and you feel like you have to be keeping up with the algorithm and keeping up with the newest trends and keeping up with your social media. But I don't think you have to. I think you need to do what you feel. I know you're going to go chime in, but do what you feel is right for your business.
Yeah. I mean, I just mentioned that all of those like cheeky, you know, funny videos and posting so many reels, like I haven't done that in forever. I just kind of post when it feels right or when I have something authentic and something that I actually want to say.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to think and rack my brain of what can I say today, I just say what I need to say when I need to say it.
Mm-hmm.
And also, this is back to like the mindset thing. I know this is kind of going backwards, but this was one thing that worked really well for me last year with my social media. And photographers, this is really easy for you. If you're a content creator, this is really easy for you. For somebody else who like relies on other businesses to get their photos for their feed, like I know for you it's probably a little bit more challenging because your work is, you know, in person and more like service based, but for me, like my work is something that I can post, so it's a lot easier for me. But this was what worked really well for me last year because I always send sneak peeks to my clients and then the final gallery, and so I would have 2 posts for everything I shot. When I would send the sneak peeks, I'd post something. When I would send the final gallery, I'd post something. And that worked really well for me. And I'd have to think of something to say for the caption, but that was authentic because it was something new that was popping up in my business, new photos. And, you know, I would do a reel on one of the posts and then carousel post on the other. And that was like a good, you know, like ritual for me that worked really well. So I don't know.
I love that. It is hard for me because when I'm in my off season, I'm not doing events and I don't have events.
Yeah.
So I feel like I need to, and then I lost my phone.
Yeah, I know.
And everything. I still can't believe that happened, by the way. But anyway, this year is going to be so much better because I'm so much content. But I mean, I am really good about, I know that I want to portray my business on social media. So I do make it an effort. And I usually have another bartender there with me at events. But Devin just sent me a reel and it was funny because I actually saw it like a little bit before she sent it to me, but it was a photographer. I have to send it to you. Mm-hmm. It was a photographer and the caption was, when the algorithm says I need video content, and she literally has like a pole on her back with a camera or like her iPhone on top of it. And it's literally just her walking around, just recording the whole event. But it is the funniest thing. But it is true. Like, you know, the algorithm does say video content, but I truly believe that video content is you're sharing a free commercial of your business.
Oh, yeah.
I'm such a firm believer. Anytime I do a social media class, that is literally what I talk about is video content is so important for your business because it paints a bigger picture than a photo.
Yeah.
But a photo is so important too, obviously. Yeah. But I just think for me, that has always been something that I love and I enjoy doing the reels. But I think I am going to start posting more photos too now.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay.
I'm thinking about it. We'll see how
I think both are important because
I do too.
I feel like for your clients, it's probably really nice for them to see professional photos from people's wedding galleries to like, I don't know, just to see that, to see what it would look like in their wedding photos. But at the same time, like they want to see your guest experience, and your guest experience is going to be the iPhone footage. So I think that's really important. And I also think human nature just wants video.
Yeah.
Like I think that's why we're so drawn to TikTok and to Reels and things like that, because we just get consumed by moving pictures, like watching TV. Like I don't know if this is you or if you know anybody like this, but like, or kids, like it's always like little kids, like you put the TV on and they're glued, like cannot take their eyes off the TV.
Are you kidding me? My kids with their freaking iPads?
Yeah.
I can't. We have screen time now. It's ridiculous.
But TikTok and Reels are the same
adult
thing.
Screen time.
It's adult screen time. And getting your business in there and then putting it out as much as you can, like you said, with the 7 times. Like your brain needs to see something 7 times for it to really soak in and have you remember the vintage horse. The first time they see it, they might be like, oh, cool, mobile bar. Yep. Second time, they're like, oh, cool, mobile bar. I like that cocktail. Oh, cool, mobile bar. I like that cocktail. What's the name of the business? Like, yep. You have to hear it a couple times for it to really soak in, for them to be able to remember you. And so it's like, it's a hard thing, this like debate, because it's good to post on your social media as much as you can because of that. But at the same time, do it authentically, because if you overdo it, then people are going to know that you're overdoing it and you're doing it just for the sake of posting. So you're really, really good about making sure that everything that you post is important. You're always sharing tips. You're always sharing your story. Like I just saw a post or TikTok or something that you did yesterday that was like your OG trailer. Like it was your story from start to finish. Like it's never too late to post something like that. Like people are always looking for it.
It's funny because not to like dive too much into social media, but I think it's just it's the world today. Let's call that what it is. But I recently went on a little hiatus where I wasn't posting, and that's not me. You know me. I post every single day, and it's because it's something in my business that I truly enjoy. So it's not like I'm posting because I feel like I have to post. It's something because it's like my outlet of my business that I enjoy everything of my business for the most, but that is the one where it's like almost mindlessly now for me. I know the caption is hard and like creating the content is hard, but like once you get there, it's easier for me. But I, going back to like the top trends and all those, I had a bunch of those reels go viral. Like one of them got over 8 million views. Yeah. But it wasn't the content I wanted to put out. So I think I had to like reevaluate what I was putting out and not caring about it going viral.
Right.
Like it's almost like that like saying where it's like, you know, you get to the top of the mountain and now you're like, okay, I'm here. Like, should I be grateful that I got to the top of the mountain, or should I be like, what's next kind of thing? But like, I feel like I got to the top of the mountain where I had a bunch of reels go viral. I reached the 10,000 followers I wanted, all of that. But now I'm like, you know, I talk about, I'm like, did I want this? Like, you know, now what? Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like you need to, with social media, you truly need to find what works best for you and do it in just like a very authentic way.
Yeah.
And don't feel like you have to post just to post.
Yeah. Yeah. Not just for the sake of posting, but either because you love doing it or because you really have something you want to say.
Yeah. And they're saying now too, like back to the algorithm, they want the raw footage. Like they want those like behind the scenes with your iPhone, like that's what, like the messy. It's not like the, you know, they want, of course, like the beautiful pictures, but they also want to see like just you showing up kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think I'm contradicting myself a little bit because I'm like, show up perfect, show up messy, do this. But that's what it is. It's just figuring it out. Like just figure out what works best for you.
Yeah. Everybody's different. I feel like I was contradicting myself a little bit too, because I was like, post as much as you can. But then I was also like, I don't post at all. So, I mean, it's tough, but if you're starting your business and like this is day one, I would say post as much as you can.
Yes.
And then, once you're at the top of the mountain or you're in a place, maybe you feel, I don't know, top of the mountain could be different for everybody. So like your top of the mountain was 10,000 followers. Yep. My top of the mountain was until I was satisfied.
Yeah.
No number, just like until I felt like, yeah, I'm good now. Yeah. Because for the first couple of years of my business, or the first, I mean, we're still in the couple of year mark, I guess, but when I was first getting started, all of my inquiries were from Instagram and Facebook. And then once I started TikTok. But now it's like probably half are vendor referrals. Half are probably past client referrals. And I feel like only maybe like 50 to 75% or something like that. I don't actually know. I haven't looked at the analytics, but just when I'm seeing leads pop up, I feel like more often than not, it's vendor referrals. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I wonder who the vendor is. But there's so many people that we've made connections with that it doesn't really matter. You know, it doesn't matter.
Do you think that last year was a year that you really focused on vendor connections? Or do you think it was the year before?
I mean, it's always a priority. But I don't think it was never a thing for me to be like, I need to focus on.
It was just authentic.
Yeah, I just say hi to people.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just wave and say hi.
And talk to people. No,
the reason I ask is because I heard someone say that like last year, or maybe it was 2 years ago. I think it was actually Deirdre, the photographer that we know. She posted something and she was like, 1 year was a year of her really like networking, getting her business out there. And then another year she was focusing on like nurturing those relationships a little bit. Maybe it wasn't her. I don't know. It was someone that I heard. And I feel like it was a photographer. But anyway, I'm wondering if like the fruits of your labor are coming from that. You know what I mean? Like, but I think you just did it in an authentic way.
Yeah. I feel like everything in my business has just kind of like fallen into my lap, to be honest. Like, I put a lot of thought and I put a lot of TLC into things, but not like that analytical and like focused where like I need to make vendor connections. Yep. Like I make vendor connections just because I think people are cool. Like I think you're cool. And so we're friends, you know, like I didn't become friends with you for an outcome that I saw in the future. You know what I mean?
Yep. Absolutely.
But I mean, it totally depends because now that I'm thinking about it, there probably are people where I reached out to them or started talking to them at an event because I was like, maybe we could do something. Maybe, you know, that probably did happen. I just not at the forefront of my mind. I didn't really realize it. I don't know.
I think for you, it comes authentically because you just have that personality where you're like, you connect with someone and it just happens in like a natural way. Not like forceful. I think I'm the same way too. I think when but I also think
forceful is a good word. Not to cut you off, but forceful is a good word. Don't be too forceful in your business. Kind of nurture and let things grow.
I love that.
Continue.
But I love that. I think like I'm also at a point in my business where I feel like not that someone doesn't mean something to me, but I think I'm at a point where I can say like, okay, maybe doing this free event no longer makes sense for me.
I'm at that spot too.
I'm there because I did so many free ones. Mm-hmm. And if you are just starting out in your business, do all the free things you could possibly do because it's so important to build your brand, build your name. And like I'm doing a free event next week. Like I'm not saying I'm too good for free events.
You did one last week too.
I did one last week. Exactly. I'm actually doing 2 next week.
And I did one on Monday.
Yeah. But these are the ones that I feel are meaningful. Yeah. There's a purpose behind it versus someone just reaching out to me and being like, hey, I think you would be a good fit on this. Like, do you want to collab together? I would be like, yes. Mm-hmm. But now I need to, you know, like these collabs are during the week. I have kids. I need to figure out childcare now. Like it's not just, you know, there's more to the picture that I've realized that need to make sense for me. So I feel like you will get to a point in your business where the relationships that you are building need to make sense.
Right.
Because you can't be friends with everyone and you don't want to be friends with everyone. It's like going back to like you have your 5 core best friends and you know those are the ones that are your tribe and are your people, and I feel like those are going to be your like network too. Eventually.
Doesn't mean you shouldn't be nice to everyone.
No, you should always be nice.
But you know, making sure that your circle isn't too large that you know that could bite you in the butt. Is like oversharing can bite you in the butt, and I don't know, giving away you know all of yourself to everybody in the world, like some people could try to take advantage of it. So I see what you're saying about making sure that your bubble is tight, but also be nice to everybody and treat everybody with kindness.
So, okay, let's just recap really quick. Our 5 things that we feel like we've learned in the past few years is share your business. Mm-hmm. You are your biggest fan. You are your biggest supporter. Continue to do that. Change your mindset, you know, just be positive.
Yeah. Have a good work-life balance.
Yes. Find your people.
Find your people, network as much as you can and find the people that you really resonate with and stick with them.
Yeah. And build strong relationships with those ones that you like. Once you find your people, nurture those relationships. Yeah. Education, do not stop educating yourself. Yeah. Even if it's free on YouTube, like we talked about, like continue to grow because you don't want to be like, what's the word? Like plateau. You don't want to plateau in your business. You want to continue to grow and, you know, get to the bigger hill, the bigger mountain, and keep going. And then just be genuine. You know, there's so much fake in the world and on social media and, you know, people trying to be like other people. Just be yourself. And I feel like your audience will come from that. Yeah. But this was a fun little episode. Yeah. We hope you got value.
Yeah. Me too.
Yay. All right. Well, we will be back soon. And thanks for tuning in.
All right. Bye, guys.
Cheers.